and welcome to Seismic Cinema. So put your feet up on some kryptonite, grab your glasses, and prepare to have the worst, most obvious secret identity of all time.
I don't know, Colin, take your glasses off and you're Spider-Man.
Who said that?
Oh, no, you're still ugly. Get on.
That's Paul.
Yes. Welcome to another city-shattering episode of Seismic Cinema. This week we are joined by someone that's like a Daily Planet reporter that you just can't shake, but not as good looking. It's James from the Moisture Farm Report. How's it going?
Hello, I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you two?
Yeah, not too bad. I feel bad that I've just kind of dissed both your looks in like 2 sentences of the opening podcast.
He's just nervous. After 80 episodes, we still can't hold it together.
Yeah, kidding on you. You're both handsome chaps.
Thank you very much. That's all I came on to hear.
So this week we are doing Man of Steel. I'm quite looking forward to it. And yeah, it's what year did this come out in? It's like a decade ago, wasn't it? Man of Steel.
10 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
That feels too long.
Oh, doesn't it? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the review when we get into it later on. Colin, do you want to do the intro for our podcast? Do the old plugs at the start?
Okay, so...
Since I just butchered that whole thing.
Yes, again. So yeah, we are Seismic Cinema, and Colin probably hasn't seen it, although I had seen this. I just didn't pay that much attention at the time. Paul's probably watched it in the wrong order, so he probably watched Batman vs Superman first and then this. And we believe in the power of escaping Krypton before it blows up. So that's a spoiler for the end of the episode. And you can find us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're especially famous on Twitter. We're the Chilean animation company. What were they called again? What were they called again?
They're so famous you don't remember what they're called. Punk Robot Studios.
Punk Robot Studios, yes. They retweeted my review of episode 3 of Visions, which is quite cool. Sorry, that was a tangent. And you can...
You're going to dine off that forever, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And you can watch and listen to us on YouTube and Spotify, and you can listen only on Apple, Google, Audible, Amazon Music, and all those other places. And recent podcasts we've done, as Paul mentioned, Daredevil, and also a review of Visions Volume 1.
Oh, and since we've just done our plugs, Jamesy boy, do you want to tell us all about your podcast?
Yeah, so I'm James. I'm one half of the Moisture Farm Report, which is not a podcast that normally talks about Superman or superhero films. We're a Star Wars podcast. I've just come along because I really love Superman, and I saw you were talking about this episode today, or about this film today, so I thought, yeah, let's jump in on this. So yeah, I'm part of the Moisture Farm Report. You can find us, I think, everywhere. Colin said you can find Seismic Cinema, everywhere apart from YouTube, because Adam and I don't show our faces in public.
We should have you.
It's because ours requires like so much editing. I just can't be bothered to sit down and do that with video. I don't know how you managed to do it, Paul. But yes, we just wrapped up our season 4 of the Moisture Farm Reports. We're between seasons at the moment, but we've just dropped a Mandalorian review. We've got 4 whole seasons of back catalogue if you want to go and listen to it. If you are a fan of Star Wars, if not, go and listen to it anyway. Put it on mute and just play it in the background and bump our numbers up.
I love how you always sound so unsure about what season you're on. You're like 4.
I can never remember. Like there are too many episodes we've done. They're all blending into one.
I think we're on season 3 still.
Yeah, we don't do seasons. We have no idea what we're doing.
Well, what we do is I wait till we get to 30 episodes and then we just randomly start the next season.
Yeah.
Paul, we're so bad at marketing, we forgot to promote the fact that this is our Mighty May, where we're going to also review, well, we've reviewed Daredevil, but we're also going to look at Into the Spideyverse and Batman 89.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole thing. We're going to like kind of like themed months, because usually we just kind of go from week to week deciding what we're going to do or take suggestions on things. So I think we're going to try and be more focused and have themed months. So I think next month is Jump Scare June. So we're going to have a wee horror filled month. with things like The Thing and what else do we have up? Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Mm-hmm.
and a couple other things. So yeah, should be quite good to have a wee bit of focus about this.
Jordan saying something about Jason X.
God, no.
Yeah, I
Have you
definitely
seen
think we won't be
Jason
coming
X,
on for
James?
horror month. No, I haven't.
And you don't want to because it is balls.
I love The Thing, but I will steer clear of horror month.
That's
Well,
right.
it does.
It's
It
gonna
does
be
make
it's,
it
it's gonna be
easier.
weird. Is that Colin?
I just said it makes it easier to get guests on Exhibit A. The fact they'll be more organised.
Yeah. I was just gonna say it's gonna be weird hearing James from the Moisture Farm Report not talk about Star Wars.
I'll shoehorn it in as many times as I can.
It's just weird. It's just weird there just being one of you as well.
I know. I keep waiting for Adam to say things. I'm like, where is he? Where is my counterpart?
I'm just waiting for him to choke on a crepe or something.
Yeah. Yeah, we do eat so much when we record our show. I mean, I can't talk. I've got like a bar of chocolate here. I've got 3 drinks. So like I'm going to be snacking throughout this one as well.
I'm glad you said that because my water's quite low already. So if we're allowed to go for refreshments, that's fine. Anyway, we should probably get moving because I'm that guy, that party pooper that has to kind of get us moving. So
But the tangents, Colin, the tangents.
By the way, I watched to go on another tangent. I watched a YouTube video the other day about the top 10 things you shouldn't do in a podcast. we do so many of them. It's funny. So going off in tangents is one of them. In jokes is one of them. Speaking over each other, we try not to do it, but it does happen sometimes. And the funniest one was, what was it? Like not getting right into it, essentially, like taking too long to get into it. So like, we hit so many of those, which is I thought it was quite funny.
That just sounds like a target to hit rather than things to avoid.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to edit out the first 7 minutes of this, and then we'll just get right into it. Okay.
This is quite quick for us, to be honest. So yep. So James, you are the guest. Paul's technically a guest because I'm the host of the size of the StreamYard, not Seismic Cinema. So James, have you been checking out any cool movies or shows or any other media recently?
I've not been watching anything recently, but I have been playing a lot of Jedi Survivor. Actually, I was just playing it before we started recording this. It's kind of consumed my free time at the moment. Yeah, Paul, you're playing Fallen Order at the moment, aren't you? Are you replaying that?
I am. I'm playing through it for the first time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was the first time. That's really exciting.
Yes.
How was it playing for the first time?
It's really good because like I was terrible at it at the start, and now because I've like built up a skill tree, like I'm just killing folks left, right, and center. But a lot of it doesn't make sense to me. But at the same time, it's cool going through it for the first time. Like you know, you just rampage through Dathomir, killing like all the Night Brothers, and then Merrin's just like, "I'll come join your crew," and it's like, "Excuse me, I just killed like half the population of your planet."
Yeah, you were real mad about everybody being dead before. Now you're just fine with it.
Yeah. Plus, I killed your zombie sisters. Just everyone dying. But you know,
Probably broke a lot of stuff on the way.
Yeah. So I'm just up to the Fortress Inquisitorius.
Oh, nice.
Just started that one.
Good luck.
So yeah.
Yeah, I won't say too much about Survivor. I don't want to spoil it for Paul or anyone else. But yeah, I'm knee deep in that game, and it is so much fun. Like everything Fallen Order was, Survivor is just like another level on top of that in terms of how fun it is. So yeah, I'm already talking about Star Wars. It's taken me 9 minutes. I've already got onto Star Wars.
That's usually me that does that. I'm still stuck in a cave and somewhere in Fallen Order, and I've not played it in months. I just kept getting lost at one bit and gave up.
Sorry, you can live vicariously through me.
I was replaying it before Survivor came out, and I hit a point where I stopped to then play something else, and like didn't come back to it for months. And it was right before a boss battle on Dathomir, and I was like, I don't want to jump straight back into the game at this point because I know I'm just going to get slaughtered. But also, I'm so close to the end of it, I want to complete it. It's one of those games I don't feel like I can jump back in like months apart because I just get so rusty with it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, see if you can't remember the button combos. Like, I'll leave it
Yeah.
a couple of days and I'm just like, what are the buttons again for this? Like, how do you do this? I'm pretty sure I've got like combinations and skills that I've never used, and I've no idea how to use them.
Yeah, I see people doing it on YouTube. I'm like, how are you doing that? I've never used that ability.
Yeah, I just like force pull people and like throw them over a ledge, and then that's me happy.
As a Jedi should.
Yes.
I still prefer Force Unleashed.
Never actually played it. Again, I feel like such a bad Star Wars fan. I've never played The Force Unleashed.
Not the novels are good as well. There's a couple of novels that go along with it as well. Right, James. So you've not been checking any movies or shows out then?
Apart from Man of Steel, obviously. No, I don't think I have.
Sure. What about yourself, Kryptonian big boy?
Yep. Just Man of Steel. I've been watching a wee bit more of Star Wars Rebels. I'm on to season 3 now. That's in before the show. So, getting to see a bit more darkness in certain characters. So it's good. I'm enjoying that more. Feels a bit more mature than it was at the start. And watched a couple of Star Wars Visions episodes, and they were pretty decent. Fell asleep in a couple though, but that's because I was tired. It wasn't because they were awful. Just I was a tired boy.
Fell asleep in the best one.
Yes, so I need to go back and revisit it. But other than that, I don't think I've watched any decent movies. Watched Bullet Train actually. I rewatched Bullet Train because I bought it on Prime. I'd seen it a while ago, and I was just like, I need to buy it because it's so good. I love it. So watched Bullet Train the other night. But other than that, that's all I've really watched. What about you, Colin?
I rewatched the last couple of episodes of Mando season 3 because I was watching it with Jordan because he hadn't watched it yet. So I watched the last couple of episodes of that. Me and Aileen are not watched that much of it this week, but watching Luther season 1. And I'm watching still wee bits of Inside number 9, but I'm also like you, Paul, watching Visions volume 2. I'm on to like episode 6 or 7. I can't remember which one. And I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy on Monday night.
Oh, nice. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it, yeah. I had a couple of issues with it, but they weren't like major. Just one character's humor didn't really land for me. And I thought, well, I don't want to say the second one because it could be construed as a spoiler, but I would highly recommend seeing it if you've not seen it because it was really good. And when I was doing some schoolwork in the house the other day, I just had something on my phone. I actually rewatched the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special because I just really love it. I think it's delightful. And this is just a very minor spoiler. One of the kind of main songs from Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas specials in the third one, which I thought was quite cool. So yeah, again, not too much, just a couple of shows. Just worked my way through Visions and then got out to the cinema on Monday night.
Is Kevin Bacon in the third one?
I think he's maybe mentioned. I'm not sure he was mentioned, or there was like a picture of him somewhere. There was some kind of visual when they were on.
Sorry, as long as there's singing.
I love the songs from the Christmas special.
I know you do. Just remember that the Guardians aren't good people. Like they beat up police officers and steal stuff.
They do very naughty things.
They're funny though.
Yes.
Right, I've got a few seismic statements, courtesy of Jordan. So a few facts about Man of Steel before we get into it. Well, do you guys have any facts or fun facts about Man of Steel before I share the ones that are here?
I feel like I should. I feel like I should know trivia about this film, but I don't.
I don't know.
The first one isn't probably... Well, I think I maybe found this out when I watched it the other night, because I did watch this like maybe a year ago or something. I did see Batman versus Superman in cinema with Paul, I think. Again, that was quite a while ago. So I don't really know if this is a fun fact, but Christopher Nolan being like a co-writer, I thought was quite cool. Obviously, his success with the Batman trilogy as well. Jordan said that some of the scenes with his Earth Dad were taken from the Superman Secret Origin comic series.
Ah.
Kind of not direct lifts, but pretty much direct lifts.
His Earth Dad.
Aye,
Like
he's got a space dad too.
Kevin Costner, Jonathan Kent, Russell Crowe. Come on, let's get technical. This bad boy. Come on.
This
His Earth Dad.
This links back to our Daredevil episode as well. Ben Affleck was offered the chance to direct the film, but he turned it down apparently because he wasn't used to doing films with so many visual effects.
Yeah, which is quite a brave move because you'd imagine you don't get too many chances these things. So for him to turn it down so that they could get the best out of what they had, kind of thing, is quite a brave move. And it's quite humble as well to turn it down, knowing that you've got some shortcomings in that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Henry Cavill insisted on Superman having chest hair. That was his call. And I thought this one was quite cool. The film came out on the 75th anniversary of Superman in general.
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
And I'm quite proud that I actually noticed this myself. There was a LexCorp oil tanker in one of the scenes. And
yeah, I only noticed that the other day. Was that in the Zod fight?
Yeah. And there was a Wayne Enterprises satellite when he was up into space.
No, I didn't notice that. I didn't see the photo.
I only noticed those when I watched it the other day as well. Completely passing by the first time.
I noticed the LexCorp one myself. It was Jordan that pointed out the Wayne Enterprise one.
Mm-hmm. So is that your seismic statements?
That's a seismic statement, yeah.
Awesome. So shall we get into the main body of this review?
Sure. Is that
awesome.
so you know where to edit?
Why do we say that and then you cut this bit out? You dirty.
It's funny.
You have no idea how hard it is to edit these sausage fingers on a Samsung.
Just don't edit out. It's funny.
It's proven you can't edit audio. It's like once it's recorded, it's forever.
Oh no! See my dog's like going. That definitely gets sent away forever.
Oh yeah, they mentioned that in that YouTube video I was watching, like background noise like dogs.
Well, those people that made that video can bite my banger. How about that?
You need to edit that bit out as well. Yeah. Anyway, let's get on with the review. So, yeah, James, you're the guest. You're probably the biggest Superman fan out of all of us. So, what were your overall thoughts in the film then?
Oh no, I'm on the spot now.
Go back to Paul then. I'll go back to Paul.
You know how much I don't like giving opinions on anything.
We'll go back to Paul.
Yeah. So I think you were maybe right in this, Colin. I think I did watch Batman v Superman before I watched this. I don't think I watched this till it was streaming or something. And I think the first time I watched it, and I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was really underrated because when I first watched it, I was like, why was there not more buzz about this when it first came out? Because usually if there's a movie out, it gets like a lot of press, a lot of attention, but this totally passed me by in the cinemas. I never heard anything really about it. And then I watched it on streaming, and I actually really, really like it. It's probably one of my most favourite comic book movies. Compared to Marvel, I would say it's up there with a lot of the top end Marvel movies, just because I think for a movie that's 10 years old, I think the effects are like really top notch, and the fight scenes are like really visceral, and like the destruction's so gratuitous. You just don't see that in many films anymore. Like it's probably more akin to like the Godzilla films, the destruction in the movies, in the Superman movie.
You've
which
been
I
eating a
love.
thesaurus
I love
today,
it.
Paul.
No,
You've been
I have
eating a
notes.
thesaurus. That was 2 fancy words in a row there.
What? Gratuitous and visceral?
Aye.
I don't actually know what they mean. I just said them.
I think there was one bit where like I noticed some of the effects looked a bit ropey in the Zod fight, but yeah, otherwise like I'm surprised when you said it's 10 years old because it doesn't look like it's dated at all. It doesn't look like it's aged in 10 years in the way that like a lot of other kind of big visual films have done.
Yeah, because I think like because everything's moving so fast,
Mm,
it actually did a pretty good job. The only thing that kind of irked me a wee bit was the zoom in, zoom out shots all the time. Like it was just constant zoom in, zoom
yeah.
out, and that's just a Zack Snyder kind of trait, isn't it, in most films?
Yeah, like him and J.J. Abrams seem to do that a lot, like around the same time. I don't know who discovered it first. Like there was just a period where it was in every kind of big sci-fi action film. Like where you'd have the kind of
Yeah,
like the big establishing shot and then it would zoom in straight away on like a detail.
yeah. I think the first time I seen that was in maybe 300. Because they do a lot of shots where it like zooms in a couple of times at one soldier and then it zooms back out into the kind of main battle, then it zooms back into another individual soldier.
Yeah.
So I think maybe Zack Snyder, but I don't know. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not a Zack Snyder fan in the slightest. Like I think he's a good director. Like he can shoot a good action scene, but there's probably got the consensus that he's terrible at writing when it comes to movies. Like, I don't know if you've seen. Like, I always go back to this one. Have you seen Army of the Dead with Dave Bautista?
I actually haven't, no.
Don't. It's awful. It's awful. It's terrible. It's just a one big massive plot hole after plot hole, and it doesn't make sense. And there's like shots that look cool just for the sake of looking cool, and they don't make sense. Like there's opening credits, and like Vegas is just like swarming with zombies along the strip.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the military decides to drop paratroopers with handguns into the strip. It's like, it looks cool, but it's like, why would you do that?
It's the worst place to put them.
Yeah, like why would you send paratroopers in the first place to do anything with a handgun when there's about 50,000 of these things in a street? But anyway, that's just a tangent. Sorry, Colin. That YouTube video will be mad at me.
I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah, I need to see how many of them I can tick off.
I'll link it after we finish. So I watched this. When did we watch this, Jordan? It was I know we watched it on Tuesday. We watched it like a year ago, or we watched it in the old house. I don't know. I think I maybe just do it to wind Jordan up sometimes because he's such a DC fan, but I've never been that into the DC films. However, this film has turned me around a wee bit, and I'm quite keen to watch a lot of the films with fresh eyes again. Like I did enjoy the Batman that we reviewed back in August or something. Although it was a wee bit too long for my liking. When it starts to hit the 3-hour mark, that's where I struggle. So if I'm watching any of the bigger ones, I'm going to have to split them into 2 installments, I think. But even today, I was saying I wanted to, and it's not a movie, but the Peacemaker series I've heard is quite good. So I'd maybe check that out at some point. And what else?
It's full of a lot of choice language.
Well, if it's as long as it's not as weird as The Boys, then I know that's not DC, but
I think it can get pretty weird. But have you seen the opening? Have you seen the opening title with the dancing?
I've not seen anything for it. I've just heard some YouTubers that I listen to talk about and things like that. Jordan's got the Blu-ray box set.
Just YouTube the opening title of Peacemaker, and you'll be sold on it straight away.
Okay, right. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I did enjoy it's a bit obvious to say about the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, but I am quite keen. I think I was maybe just trying to wind Jordan up, to be honest. And yeah, I may as well check some of them out with fresh eyes because I did enjoy this a lot more than the first time round I watched it because I've developed a new technique to stay awake when I watch films. I sat up on a big high stool And then if I felt like I was getting a bit tired, because I get tired near night time, I would just start doing some wee jogs on the spot, keep me going. It worked. I actually stayed awake during the whole film.
I thought you were going to say if you start falling asleep, you'd like fall off the stool and that would wake you up again.
Yeah, that would have worked.
That's what I was going to say as well.
I don't know about you two, but I'm awful for falling asleep, like watching TV on the couch.
Yeah, for sure. Like I struggle to sit through a film nowadays.
So there's a top tip for you. Get a big stool and you got a jog in there and again.
Do mild exercise. No, thank you.
Yeah, but no, I enjoyed it. My favorite part of the film was the relationship between Superman and his Earth daddy, Jonathan. And my favorite, well, actually, just before I say this, what I've been doing when we're doing these reviews is asking you for your seismic solutions to my questions. I'll ask James last. Do you have a favorite moment, Paul, from the film? Like just a standout, like still or moment or short sequence?
I like the sequence in the town when Superman's fighting off with the Kryptonian commander and the A-10s fighter planes are coming in and like strafing the town, and then the soldiers all land. That kind of sequence when they're all fighting in the town, and it's just like going through the IHOP and through the bank and just totally wrecking this town completely.
Is that a moment though, or is that a sequence?
Oh, right. What define a moment?
Well, I'll give you my moment then. So, see when he's basically been told not to reveal his true self, and Jonathan's like about to get taken away by the tornado, and he could have saved him, but he just like looks at him and nods, and then he gets taken away. I thought that moment was really powerful, and that's like probably the standout moment I remember from the film.
I found out after watching this film that apparently taking shelter under an overpass is the worst thing you can do in a tornado, which I thought was quite hilarious. That Jonathan was like, "Everyone do this. I'll rescue the dog. Like I've got this under control." Apparently, that's like terrible advice. If you're in a tornado, like you should stay in the car and crouch down. Apparently,
yeah.
Just tornado advice. If anyone out there is in tornado corridor.
Yeah, Jonathan actually thought he was safe, and the rest of them are all doing. He's like, no, that's fine. You stay over there.
Yeah, you stay over there. I'm gonna be fine. You just stay over there.
Is that why he was nodding? And he was just happy.
Yeah, he's just happy to get rid of the troublesome kid.
That was a bit that I didn't like. I don't know. A lot of the Jonathan Kent stuff, I didn't really.
Boo! Boo earns.
I'm with you, Paul.
Like obviously, he could have saved them
Colin in the car park.
Like obviously, he could have saved them. Like I don't think anyone would have cared that. Like you're obviously going to save your dad. You know what I mean, like even if he told me no, I'd be like, I'm super. You're getting saved. Like I don't care.
No, been told again and again, not like that was a big thing that he wasn't to reveal his true identity.
I know, but if you told again, like so you're saying if Stuart was in that situation, you'd be like, yeah. So you're saying if he said like, don't use your super to save me, I'm just going to get sucked up in a tornado and torn it into bits. It's fine. You stay there. You're going to be like, I'm okay, Dad.
I'm not Superman, Paul. My dad was a fireman. He would have sorted it out.
But if you are, there's no chance. No chance.
Just let me live my life and like that moment. Right?
I think for me, I was a bit like, Superman can move so fast, and there's so much stuff flying around that I'm like, if he ran in and got his dad, would anyone have even noticed or been able? Like, someone might have seen something, but would they have been able to say, "Oh, that was Clark Kent running in there"? Or would it just been like, I don't know what I saw because there was stuff flying everywhere? Yeah.
Yeah. Because like a bunch of school kids seen him push a school bus out of a lake. So I'm
pretty sure half the town knows at this point.
Yeah.
I did enjoy all I liked the scenes when he was like a kid and showing like how it was affecting him. It was pretty like freaky when it was showing like people's like insides and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of I don't know if either of you ever watched Smallville in like the mid 2000s, I think it was on. It was like young Clark Kent.
in
And
pieces.
there was a lot of bits like that where like every season he'd develop a new superpower and it'd be like, oh, I've developed X-ray vision and now I can see like through walls and stuff, or develop the super hearing and suddenly could hear things from like the next town over. And it was a lot like that, like very kind of jarring experience. Yeah, it was. I really love that scene in the classroom where like he suddenly starts like seeing things and hearing things, and it's just overwhelming for him. I thought that was really cool. I don't think I've seen like Clark Kent handled that way before.
You really feel for him as a kid when you didn't know why all these things were happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it could have been easy just to give him the powers and then be like, he's a master of them straight away without really too much guidance. So yeah, it was good that they showed them struggling with it.
Because I think that's a big bit about his parents, or about Ma and Pa Kent, is like they know that Clark can, you know, lift a truck over his head or burn down a barn with his eyes and stuff, and like their job is to help him develop those powers in a way that he's not going to kill someone. And I think I always find that relationship fascinating because like they're in this role, they've adopted him as their child, not knowing this was going to happen, and suddenly like, how do we stop a 9-year-old boy from throwing a house across across the countryside? Like, that's not really anything that's not our expertise at all, but we're his parents, so we've just got to do it. We've got to help him.
Yeah.
Do you know that can relate a lot to like real life in terms of like young kids managing like anger issues and understanding their emotions and things like that?
Yeah,
you're quite representative of that.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else, like either you got this or if anyone else watching the film got this, but like that scene in the classroom where his senses start going off, it reminded me a lot of like an autistic meltdown, of that kind of that same sensation for him, especially then seeing the other kids as well being like, you know, what's going on, he's such a weirdo. Like that was quite a hard scene to watch with that kind of context in there. I don't know if that was intended when they made the film or not.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Superman as a kid wasn't inspired by that scenario.
Yeah, I don't know. I do want to find that out now.
Well, let's end the podcast there. That's a good, good place to end.
What was your favourite moment, James?
I think my favourite one, I'm trying to pick between three in my head now. I think my favourite one is during the fight in Smallville. But to please Colin, I will say just one moment.
Yes.
When they're in the IHOP and he's fighting Feora like hand to hand, and I think it's just like the speed of the movements they're doing, and like the kind of small, almost like sonic booms or something every time the hands connect. It just really, like, you saw kind of how strong they both were, like the physicality of these two Kryptonians, what their superpowers were. I just thought that I've never seen that before in any kind of Superman film or show. I mean, I haven't watched all of them, so it may have been done before, but I think generally it's something this film does really well. Like the other favorite moment is when he first learns to fly and he's like shooting through the Grand Canyon or something, and it's like you strapped a GoPro to a rocket. Like the visual effects on that was so good, and you just got the sense of like the speed and the power of this person. I just thought that was so cool.
Jordan's basically just watching this podcast behind me or in front of me, nodding or shaking his head or shaking his fists at me, depending on what's been said. He liked what James said there, so
I have to bring out a hot take in a moment.
Yeah. I'm going to change my moment to.
Are you going to steal my moment?
No. When they're flying the cargo plane with the Phantom Drive into the Kryptonian ship, and the Colonel and Fiore, he says that was it. What does he say? He says a good death is its own reward. And they've been kind of having this running battle throughout the whole movie, a bit of animosity between them, and he finally gets the better of her. So that's my moment when he self-sacrifices the cargo plane into the Phantom Drive.
How'd you know all their names so well?
Because I can read Wikipedia off my phone.
I can't remember that Colonel's name. I just keep remembering him as the guy from Law and Order. Like the whole way through the film, just could not remember his character's name at all.
Colonel Hardy.
Colonel Hardy.
Yeah. I just remember him saying he was like Northcom commander or something like that, and that was it.
some
Because I think he only says his name once or twice, and that's it.
Yeah. He's just one of those actors, like, once you see him in one show or film, you're like, I only ever think of you as that one character. And for me, it's just the guy from Law and Order.
Yeah. I think he's the main character in like one of the Black Ops games. Like Black Ops 3, and it's just like, that's the guy from Law and Order. Yeah.
You've got a really weird knowledge of like who voices the Call of Duty characters.
No, it's his actual face. He's motion captured, isn't it? It's his actual face.
I thought you were just studying who was doing the voice acting for the games.
Well, yeah. I do like my games sometimes.
I enjoyed the kind of world building at the start, like how, like, basically they've been like producing the children in a lab, but then they there was finally like the first natural birth in however many years it was, and then the planet just gets destroyed not long afterwards. So I think it was quite a good setup. Yeah, I just quite enjoyed hearing about some of the lore, and because I was making a valiant effort to pay attention and stay awake, I enjoyed listening to that.
I did find it quite funny at the very beginning, I think it was, where the camera's like sweeping over Krypton just before you see like baby Kal-El, but it's sweeping over these like herds of wild animals, and they're all kind of like lifting their heads to the sky, and then it shows you baby Kal-El, and I was like, this feels a lot like The Lion King. Like, it just needs a circle of life in the background. Jor-El to raise the baby up.
Yeah. That was one thing about the movie as well, was the music. I really like the music in it.
Yeah, that
good old Hans Zimmer.
So good. I went to
he always has a mark.
I went to an event recently that was like a film music orchestra, and it was John Williams and Hans Zimmer music, and they did part of the Man of Steel score. And it was the first time I'd ever like paid attention to it. I was like, this is incredible. And I kind of need to watch the film again to listen to the music. So this is a good coincidence that we're doing this episode.
How was that, James? I've seen those kind of events advertised quite a lot, and I've always quite fancied it for like the Harry Potter and the Star Wars and Indiana Jones music and things like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. If you get a chance to go and see something like that, I definitely recommend it. You just hear this like incredible music in a different context. And they played part of the Star Wars like suite, and they played Leia's theme, and I just teared up listening to that. Another Star Wars mention. Is
Return of the Jedi coming in the cinemas right enough soon?
I think it was recently, but I don't think it was out for very long.
Hope we haven't missed it, Paul. That'd have been a good wee night out.
Well, I doubt it's coming to studio cinemas in Dunoon.
It might.
It's always the DVD.
We get the big releases on release day now, so why not?
Sometimes. I don't know. I think probably missed it anyway.
Stop being negative. They've got new seats.
After 20 years. Same old sticky floor though.
Support your local cinema.
Come on, it's actually alright. It's not too bad.
We had this conversation before.
Yeah.
What did you make of the romance with Lois Lane? I don't know. I felt like they just put them together. I kind of felt like they were just put together because those characters are meant to be together. I didn't know if it was particularly earned in the film. Like, I don't know if they maybe built it up enough. What did you guys think?
I quite liked it. I quite liked the way round they did it, because normally it's like Clark Kent starts at the Daily Planet and Lois Lane doesn't get on with him, but then she sees Superman for the first time. And I quite like they did it the other way around, where she meets him as Superman first, and then he doesn't join the Daily Planet until the very end. Yeah, which I forgot that they did it that way around. So I was watching this film and I was like, how does she not know who Clark Kent is when she's been like face to face with him multiple times? And then, yeah, literally. I don't know. I quite liked the moment where they kiss in Metropolis, like after he's just rescued her from that cargo plane, because I felt like that was less of like a romantic kiss and more of just like I'm so relieved that I'm not dead and you're right here.
So a bit like Ben Solo and Rey.
Yeah, literally, yeah. I don't know, I quite liked it. Maybe it's just that I like the actors. I like their casting in this. I thought they were both really good.
What is Amy Adams in that I would know her from? Because it's either from watching this before But I couldn't find anything obvious on Wikipedia that I would definitely know her from, unless I just know who she is generally.
She's one of those people who's been in a lot of things, but I don't think I've watched that much that she has been in.
Mm-hmm. Paul's looking up right now.
I am.
Paul,
I seen it was at Arrival.
They also said that.
Arrival, yeah.
They said that in the YouTube video, looking things up on Wikipedia.
I'm pretty sure one of the podcasts we did, I think it was when we were guesting on, and Colin's like, can you just suggest some horror movies for us? And then he's just flicking through Netflix whilst he's on the podcast, like, oh, I see, this is a horror.
Adam and I are always looking up stuff on our show because we don't remember anything.
Aye. She's just in Hunters, and then we'll just leave it at that.
Hunters, yeah.
Well, you know, Wikipedia just sends you a curveball. It says she was in the Batman last year, and I'm pretty sure she wasn't.
I was talking to my pal Mikey the other day, and he's a massive Superman fan. He was really bigging up the original Superman film. Have either of you seen that? I'm assuming you have, James.
Yeah, I watched the first two Christopher Reeve ones. The second two are supposed to be terrible, so I just never bothered. Yeah, I was wondering kind of if they'd come up because, like, I think I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about this film without talking about the Christopher Reeve ones, because like those kind of set a template for like what Superman looked like on screen. And I know a lot of the reason why people didn't like Man of Steel was because it was very, very different to the Christopher Reeve ones. But I think when I first watched Man of Steel, I maybe had a bit of that. Like, I never really loved the Christopher Reeve ones in the first place, but I think I watched Man of Steel and I was like, oh, it's like a very grey film. It's very kind of dark and grounded, and it wasn't really like the Superman that I like recognized. But then watching it the other day, I thought it's actually really cool seeing something completely different, like seeing something that's not just the Christopher Reeve version updated for 2013 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I've only seen wee clips of the old Christopher Reeve ones. I've never actually watched them. I struggle to go back and watch stuff that's before my time just because I struggle with like things that look dated.
Yeah. It was kind of nice. There were bits of Man of Steel that like nod to the film. Like I remember, I think the first meeting between Superman and Lois Lane, Lois requests an interview with him, and like he turns up at her apartment as Superman, and she asks him things like what the S on his uniform stands for. So there's bits of that in Man of Steel, like when Superman surrenders to the army and asks to speak to Lois Lane, and she's like, "Oh, what does the S stand for?" So there are little kind of nods to it, which I appreciate. It's nice hearing those going, "Oh, I get that."
Cinema.
Yes. I do find it funny though. Every time he's like, "Oh, it's not an S, it's hope." It's like, we all know it's an S. We all know what it stands for.
It's a symbol for hope.
Yeah, I'd read something the other day actually. It was talking about like like his costume is missing like the red like underpants like the original, and it's because like it didn't look good for starters. You just couldn't get it to look good without looking ridiculous. And then because people always used to say like they look like pajamas, they made it so that the Superman costume is basically Kryptonian pajamas because Kryptonians wear that underneath their armor,
like
and he's missing the armor. Yeah, so he's missing the armor, so he's basically just wearing like Kryptonian pajamas as a wee kind of a nod to that.
Now I want to see him in Kryptonian armor. That'd be pretty cool. Not that he needs it, but
I know. Yeah, right. Just steal the black armor, not like custom painted blue and red armor.
Yeah. Very dark blue.
This was the second seismic solution I needed. Was your favorite costume design? So that kind of links into there.
Ooh,
favorite costume design.
I think Jor-El's armor from the beginning, the stuff that he puts on to fight Zod, looked really cool. Maybe this is why I want to see Superman in Kryptonian armor as well, because like we've already seen the suit and it looks really cool. But I thought Jor-El generally, like all of the costumes he had, like the robes and stuff, just looked really interesting and intricate.
Yeah, I quite liked him as a character as well. It's cool seeing Russell Crowe in that in that role. And then when he's just like the hologram as well, it's just ever so helpful. Although I feel like when he's helping Lois Lane escape in the escape pod, he could have done something rather than just say, "Move your head to the left, please." He may just be like, "Somebody's about to punch your head off."
Yeah, a bit more context might have helped.
Yeah, you'd be like, "What?" But yeah, he did have cool costumes. What about you, Colin? What was your favourite costume design?
I'll be completely honest. I really, in terms of details like that, because this was Jordan's question, I really would have benefited from watching the film another once. Because when I watched it on Sunday, I was watching it for like the story. In terms of like the nitty gritty that I can normally produce, so I'm going to be really basic and go for. I thought Superman looked cool.
Just go on Google Images, find a couple of costumes.
Because he did.
The low-hanging fruit. That's okay. You can pick it.
Usually I go quite deep. I'll admit on this occasion that I probably need to watch it again to really get like that level of detail. So just being honest.
Yeah.
It is a shame you didn't have the red pants, but I get that looks ridiculous. Like every time you try and do it.
We were looking up some fun facts for the seismic statements. Jordan, who was it that said
Zack Snyder wanted it?
Zack Snyder wanted it not to have the red
No, he
pants.
wanted Superman to have trunks.
Oh, he wanted it to happen. Okay. So why didn't it happen again?
Because it just looked stupid.
Because it looked stupid.
Because it looked awful.
Yes. Is there pictures of it?
No, probably concept art.
Well. Right. We're at... Sorry, Paul, you go.
I was going to say it because I didn't get to pick anyone.
Oh,
Forgetting all about me. You son of a bitch.
How could we forget about you?
I'd probably have a toss-up between Kryptonian Big Boy and Fiore. Because like the black armor and the Kryptonian Big Boy is was it like 10 feet tall or something? It looks like compared to Fiore, he just looks massive, and he's got like kind of bandolier across him, and he's just got the mask. I think he looks pretty intimidating, and he can take the hits. So he's my pick for costume choice.
There's always a big boy, isn't there? There's always a threatening big boy.
It's either that or Fiore's just like 2 foot tall.
Yeah. I don't remember seeing him at any other point in the film, like in any of the Krypton flashbacks at the start, and then suddenly it just bam, big Kryptonian big boy.
I think he's. I think you do see him when they're getting like iced up to go into the Phantom Zone.
Oh yeah.
I think he's right behind Zod. I think he's a big, massive guy, big muscly guy.
Okay.
So I think you do see him at some point, just briefly, and then the rest of the time he's just mask on, because I think he must not be a real person. And if he is, he's a basketball player.
One other bit I did like was when Lewis was Lewis. I think of Lewis Lip. Was basically trying to find out all about Superman. I liked that when she got his side of the story, she totally changed her tune and didn't reveal his identity. I thought that was another bit that I thought was quite a strong part of the film.
I really like that whole bit where she was like tracing down kind of the tiny bits of stories that people had heard of Clark before. And the little like the voiceover she was doing where she's like, to some people he's a guardian angel, to some people he's just a shadow that they never saw again. Like I thought that was really cool, just setting up this like what Superman looks like in this world.
Oh, we totally forgot to talk about the red-headed lad that was bullying him, who he then saved, who then we see multiple times throughout the film afterwards.
Yeah, Pete Ross.
Yeah. Ed Sheeran if he wasn't good at singing.
So many kids are mean to Clark Kent. I don't understand why he's bullied that much.
I know. He was like one step away. Have you seen Brightburn?
No, I haven't. But I have heard people talk about it with
watch that.
Young Clark.
Yeah, that's like completely opposite of this. Like, if he just went a wee bit off the rails when he was younger, and then he goes completely off the rails.
I did love that scene where he was. I say love, it's the wrong word, but that scene where he's being like pushed around in the scrapyard by the gang of bullies, and then as they're doing it, they turn around and they see Jonathan Kent is standing off screen, like glaring at them. And I'm like, how long has Jonathan Kent been watching these kids just push his son around in the mud and like not done anything? And I was like, surely as a dad, your first instinct would be to like get in there and stop these kids from kicking your son around. But then also when you know that your son could throw them through the wall at any moment, like, what is he doing in that scene? Is Jonathan just like, I'm just going to wait and see how this plays out and hope that Clark doesn't kill anyone?
I thought he was placing. I thought he was placing bets with the guy saying, "Here's a fiver of my son."
I bet my son can get him over that fence.
Yeah.
And then it all wakes up and he's just like, "Oh damn it! There's a fiver lost."
So a wee similarity to the young Daredevil.
Yeah. The only thing with Jonathan Kent, like you said, it was a bit dubious in that scene, and also that he was willing to. Oh, I'm not willing, but he was suggesting that Clark not save a school bus full of kids.
Yeah, Clark was like, what should I have done? Should I have let them drown? And his dad's like, yeah, maybe. I was like, no, don't let a school bus full of kids drown.
Leave Jonathan alone. He's the MVP.
I'm just saying this Jonathan Kent makes some questionable moral judgments.
Yeah, because like, I'd imagine if he had like the school bus full of kids drown, then he'd be a pretty messed up kid going forward.
I get his whole thing of like, if you show your powers, people are gonna they're gonna react in fear. They're not gonna like this. They're not gonna trust you. But also, like, are you saying your son should have just let a bus full of children that he knows and is friends with drown and save himself? Because I don't think that's a great lesson to teach.
But the boy was mean to him.
Okay, maybe you can let one of them drown.
Yeah, just throw him down the river a wee bit.
Yeah.
I mean, funny that you mention it. The episode of Visions I watched this morning, the one from the Indian animation company, there's quite a lot of similar themes to the part of this movie we're talking about. So when you check out the one from the Indian studio, you'll probably see what I mean.
Interesting. A lot of kids drowning in that one.
Yeah.
No,
fathers of questionable morality.
The idea of hiding your powers and the impact of it.
I also love how many things just go wrong around Clark Kent. Like, he's just trying to be a normal kid, and then like buses jump off of bridges. There's tornadoes everywhere. Like, how many disasters happen in this young child's life? Yeah, oil rig explosions. Like, you just try to do your job, and then suddenly there's an explosion.
None of these things have happened to me anyway.
Yeah.
Yet.
Is that a sign that we're not superheroes because we don't have buses randomly crashing around us?
Spider-Man always seems to get in scrapes and buses as well, and trains.
The superhero world should hire better bus drivers.
Well, will we round up then? Will we get those seismic stars on the go?
I was going to say, they didn't even talk about Zod or Etna or the Kryptonians, really.
You can keep going then if you want.
I was going to say, well, what did you think of Zod? I thought they did a really good job, casting wise, and you're kind of empathetic with him because he wanted Krypton to survive, and he knew that the Kryptonian hierarchy were fools for everything they were doing. But then obviously it goes like super evil at the end, trying to laser kids and stuff. But yeah, I thought they were really good. I really liked like the Kryptonians all had their individual like traits and looks rather than just being generic foot soldiers like you get in a lot of superhero movies nowadays. They're just like faceless people that are just cannon fodder, really.
Red shirts,
basically.
Yeah, I thought
stormtroopers.
Like, yeah. Yeah, I thought you can relate to, I don't know if relate is the right word, but you can empathize with what Zod is trying to do. Like, he's trying to save his planet and his people. It's just like, you're doing it in questionable ways, but I get where you're coming from. It's kind of like Thanos in a way. Like, yeah, you've got a point in there somewhere. Just maybe think about it twice.
Yeah.
The villain in the new Guardians has similar plans as well.
It's quite interesting as well how you've got like Zod and Jor-El, and they're both trying to do the same thing of save the people of Krypton, but they've just got completely different ways of doing it and can't work together for some reason. Like, I want to know what beef went on in their past for them to just not be able to work together.
They probably did a podcast together first.
Yeah. Really fell out over their Mandalorian opinions.
Yeah. So who's the Zod and who's the Jor-El in that our partnership, Colin?
I'm the cheery one.
You're right. I'd stab you in the gut in a second.
Thank you. As long as you give me your food order first.
Yes. Colin, what in jokes? YouTube.
I'm going to send you the link to that video so you can have a good laugh over it.
Yeah. He sent me a what was it, 50 tips for a good podcast, and I was like, what's tip 51? Get rid of Paul, and he's like, yes. I wholeheartedly agree. My editing thumbs up.
I'd rather have a laugh than. Nah, I'd rather make money. Can you do both?
No, that is impossible.
Nah, you actually can. I've seen it done. I don't know how they do it, but they've done it.
And if you want Colin to make money, we have a Buy Me a Coffee page, buymeacoffee.com/seismic cinema. You know, just saying.
And we've got no money since the first time we got money. Which the money just disappears. I'm not quite sure how it works. It was there, then it doesn't let you take it. It just disappeared.
You can only take it once you get £1 million in there.
Although I was asked by my mother what I wanted for my birthday, which is coming up, and I may have suggested a wee contribution towards a headset and microphone.
Nice.
So she's not putting money into the Buy Me a Coffee fund.
I thought that's where you were going with that.
It's gone privately. It's gone private.
No, that's what the fund is for. I thought that was our first target.
It's going into the podcast, but only one half.
I could get her to pay the money into it, so it looks like we've been successful with it.
Legit, yeah. We celebrate it. Yes, we got money.
Then you can put it on your tax return.
No. Oh no, never mind. No taxes. Taxes, no. Anyway, we went right off tangent talking about funds now.
Any closing thoughts?
Super underrated movie. Deserves more credit than it does.
When I started doing my Wikipedia stock, one of the first things it said underneath the brief description was that a lot of people didn't like Henry Cavill as Superman. I don't have any comparison point, so I didn't have any issue with him, but the film itself wasn't maybe greatly received, so it's maybe a bit of a mixed bag between kind of audience scores and critic scores.
Yeah, it's weird. I just Googled like some review scores, and on IMDb it's got 7 out of 10. Amazon it's 4.5 out of 5 stars, and then on Rotten Tomatoes it's got 56%. So it's weird that it's got like those such different opinions depending on where people are. But yeah, I think Paul's right. It's really underrated. Like, I think it got a bit of a kind of polarizing reception when it came out, like I said, because it was very different to other Superman things. But it's a good film. I really enjoyed watching it the second time around. And everyone in the cast is great. Like, there's not a single actor, I think, in this film that isn't really good in their role. Even Henry Cavill, I think he's a brilliant Superman. I'm kind of gutted that he's not in more films than this trilogy that he was in.
No, taking him.
That's what I've got. My message just says Henry Cavill is Superman. Like, I can't imagine anyone else being Superman now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard finding someone. I'm assuming they're casting someone else now for the James Gunn film, but like it's going to be hard to find someone I think who's going to do that. Yeah, it's going to be hard finding someone who does it as well as him, because I think he was a really good Superman and also a really good Clark Kent, which is like part of the problem with casting that character is you've got to get someone who can do both of those roles really well.
The guy out of the white collar was when I was looking up some things. Matt Bomer that was in White Collar. He was linked with it at one point. He's definitely going to look for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it just feels weird that they've kept some and got rid of others when Like,
Yeah.
Henry Cavill's a really good Superman. I don't see what was wrong with it. I know they did an origin story, but I feel like we've had like umpteen origin stories for Superman that you don't really need to go back to it.
Yeah, I feel like you're at this point where you could just throw in a Superman film without telling you how he got to Earth, and everyone would just like either get it or not need it.
Yeah,
Like with
I know,
how the
exactly.
MCU Spider-Man film didn't start with him being bitten by a spider, like because we've seen enough of that.
I needed
Exactly.
the backstory.
Yeah.
I enjoyed having the stabilizers.
I guess it's like in 2013, superhero films weren't huge yet, so like you still kind of needed that lead in. Whereas I guess now that everyone and their mums has seen a superhero film, you're like, yeah, I can accept the concept that there's just a guy in red pants who flies around and shoots fire out of his eyes. Like, I'm on board with that, and I don't need to see how it happened. But I don't know, maybe people still do.
No.
Colin.
Yeah, I still need to see it. I've learned a bit late on that James isn't the one that likes to go first. So, Paul, how many seismic stars out of 10 would you give this movie?
I will give this a solid 8.5. So maybe I really enjoyed. First time I was saying I watched it, it was okay, but there's quite a lot going on. I didn't really take it all in. But last time I watched it, when I was like looking at it critically, I really did thoroughly enjoy it. Like there's plenty of action in it, plenty of shooty bang bang, as James calls it. And a lot
This
of
is
good
more
plot points.
punchy.
Yeah, punchy. Except for when the soldiers meet the Kryptonians. That's you ever seen that meme where it's like it's when you're playing like an RPG video game and you go back to the starting area when you've leveled up and it's just people shooting at you and you're just standing there like, it's fine. Nothing's gonna happen to me.
Paul, it's actually my dad that used the phrase shooty bang bang.
I stole it from Colin's dad.
I was talking about, I can't remember what I was talking about, but I was talking about something that my dad watched, and he said he didn't like shooty bang bang, or he did like, I can't remember. But anyway, my dad said it, not James.
Well, James did say it on the podcast, so I have audio evidence.
Okay.
Yeah, suck it, Colin's dad.
He listens to us sometimes, or used to.
I'm so sorry, Colin's dad.
For sure.
So what about you? What is your rating?
Who's me? Me?
I'll go. I think I'll go 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it at the beginning. There was a point where it sagged somewhere in the middle, and then I really came back at the end. So
Where did
yeah,
Paul go?
I don't know. I can hear
I'm
dogs.
still
He's gone into the phantom zone.
Yeah.
I think 7.5 out of 10 feels good for me. Like it's more than I thought, because I don't think I enjoyed it that much when I first watched it, and then I really enjoyed it this time around.
I hate going last because now I feel like I'm probably going to copy one of yous. So I'm going to copy James, I think, and go 7.5. I'm not as big a fan of shooty bang bang. My brain struggles to take in too much action at one time. So I think the last half hour was proper action heavy.
Yeah.
Which maybe, unlike you guys, maybe my least favorite part of it. I more like the story elements and the relationships between the characters. That's more kind of my vibe. I don't know, maybe it's just my brain. Sometimes when there's too much on. I can appreciate a good action scene, but it just maybe depends on what movie it is or kind of what my familiarity with the franchise maybe.
Yeah, like it's verging on sensory overload when you've just got like every building in the shot exploding.
When I went to see Guardians on Monday, some of the action scenes in that were amazing. I really loved them, but I think maybe it's just to do with my familiarity with the franchise and the characters. Maybe if I was more in tune with this franchise, then maybe I would have enjoyed that aspect more. So I'm quite happy with 7.5. I think strong story, good acting. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Kind of got me on board checking out the DC movies.
You're going to revisit Batman v Superman after this?
Hmm.
I'm thinking I might, because I haven't seen it since
Maybe.
it came out in cinemas.
Yeah, it was that
Yeah,
year.
I hope so.
It was because it came out the same year as Civil War, didn't it? Because it was just like the big year of superheroes fighting each other.
Yeah, I think so. They punch for a bit and then they're mates.
Mhm.
Martha. That's that whole movie hinged on Martha.
I know.
And he just says it for like no reason.
Not no reason. Right. Paul, you gave your score, didn't you? Yeah. So have you got any PK picks for this week? Where's your website? Where's your camera off?
Because my dog's causing a riot in the background.
We would hear them, not see them.
Oh. Anywho, my PC picks so far, I've only listened to a few this week, right enough. So on Tuesday, I was listening to James's podcast there. Yeah. On Mandos's. And I was like, it'll just be the same points that he did in our episode. But he's managed to actually bring in a lot more material. A lot more different
exclusive
things.
stuff for your show. We didn't
So
just
I was
make
like,
it for ours.
And Colin, you got a couple of mentions there too.
Oh, I'll definitely need to listen to that.
Nothing good though.
It's all good things on our show.
I think it was you they disagreed with more on that one.
I wasn't even there.
I know. That's why, because we just hated on you for like an hour.
It's much easier to start a fight with someone who's not there, because then you don't actually have to fight them.
I talk about Paul a lot more when he's not there than when he is there.
I know. And I'm away, I just need to edit all the bad stuff out. Then instead we sound clips in going, Paul was amazing. What was I going to say there? Oh god, I totally forgot. What were we talking about there? Oh, PK Picks, yeah, that's right. I was listening to Chat Tsunami, they're doing a DreamWorks Revisited, which is quite interesting because like they don't really talk about studios a lot, and I don't really take much interest in studios a lot unless I'm something really into it. So yeah, it was quite interesting listening and talk about all the different DreamWorks properties and all the kind of behind the scenes stuff. So that was good. And what else did I watch? God, I need to look at my Spotify now and what I recently played.
I do that as well.
Yeah.
We're probably not supposed to do this according to that YouTube video.
Oh, we do that all the time anyway. Who cares? And I listened to our Daredevil one just because listen to our voices.
I watched a wee bit of What's the Script's Infinity War, or listened to it anyway.
Oh, yeah, this was good, yeah.
And there was one I was listening to on YouTube as well, but I can't remember who it was.
And the boys from the Wait What podcast, they've been doing the Phantom Menace, and I think they did these tournament ranking things that people do, like a tournament bracket. And they've done one of the Star Wars characters, so I'm going to check that out soon as well.
We should do fun things
But
like
yeah,
that.
I've not really listened to much this week, so that's kind of it. And have you started up a website, Colin, as well?
Yeah, we've actually got a domain name for a website.
Ooh.
It said it'd be live within 48 hours or something, but it's still not there, so I'll need to go into it and have a look. But it's seismiccinema.com. We've claimed that for a tenner a year.
Excuse me? So,
I'm
is
going
that coming out of our expenses?
I'm going to pay that £10 a year. I'm sure I can handle it. Basically, what we're going to have is links to some of our recent podcast episodes, because you can embed the videos on Google Sites. And I'm going to have a wee page dedicated to our regular collaborators. So what will be mentioned for Moisture Farm with some links in there. Maybe a wee bit about what's coming up that month. A wee bit about us, like meet the people. I'm just going to play a bit with it once it gets up and running. And just something that looks quite professional, potentially.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, mask the true nature of us. Make it look professional.
It's a very good place to promote some of our many friends we've met over the last year on doing the podcast, and just a wee lunch pad.
Nice. What about you, James? What about season 5? When's that? Get up and running, or when do you record it? Or
I don't know. Adam and I still need to sit down and actually plan a season out because I don't know, we normally do it like we normally sit down and plan stuff like a couple of weeks after we finish a season. So we should have some details soon. If you want to find that out, you can follow us on social media at Moisture Farm Rep on Twitter and Instagram, and the TikTok account that I can't remember the password for. So yeah, we'll be putting up details there soon. It'll be sometime probably late summer. I'm saying this now or just plucking it out of my off the top of my head. So that may change. But yeah, we've got season 5 coming later this year. We'll probably have some bonus episodes in between because we just like talking about Star Wars. Yeah, keep your eyes tuned to our social media and see.
Awesome. Can't wait, because my Tuesdays feel empty without it.
We'll just have to do like a Zoom call on a Tuesday and just chat about Star Wars.
Why can't you promote us like that, Paul?
I'm not sure I did a very good job.
I'm too tired.
Anyway, we were Seismic Cinema. We were joined by James from Moisture Farm Report, reviewing Man of Steel. I almost forgot what film it was. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Twitter, where we got a wee shout out from an animation studio. And you can listen to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Pods, Google Pods, Audible, Good Pods, Amazon Music, and Spotify for podcasters. And next time out, we're reviewing Into the Spider-Verse ahead of the release of Across the Spider-Verse, which comes out on my birthday, which is exciting. And we're just going to finish up by, and I said at the start, does James, who's been on with us multiple times now, does he remember our slogan?
I remember at the start you said the power of escaping Krypton before it explodes. I don't know if that's the bit I was meant to remember, though.
It's actually better than what it is.
What is it, Paul?
Actuality. It's the power of letting wee kids drown in a school bus.
It's also the power of escapism, and we hope that everyone watching and listening has enjoyed escaping with us for the last hour and 12 minutes.
Yes, thanks for listening. And also, one last point. Did we mention that a studio that does anime retweeted our tweet on Star Wars Visions?
How cool is that, right? We've also got some Chilean fans now. There was a couple of Chilean Twitter users that posted, and I had to translate it from Spanish to Spanish. They actually said it's my favorite episode too in Spanish. So
nice. I feel very honored being invited on a podcast that's been retweeted by a Chilean animation studio.
Well, it's been the highlight of my Mighty May so far.
I'm in rarefied air here.
I'm going to put that in my bio. Right, anyway, that's us. So thanks for checking us out, and see you next time for the rest of Mighty May.
Yep, thanks for listening.
Thank you.